Was my condition caused by a medication? Yes. Was my condition caused by PTSD? Yes. Was my condition caused by prolonged trauma? Yes. This is why doctors consider me one of the most medically complex cases they have ever seen in their life. So let me give you a little background on how this all happened. In July of 2022, I entered a PTSD treatment program because I needed it. When I left the program, they wanted me to go to a continuing day treatment program to continue getting help. So I entered the Cornell Day Treatment Program at the Weill Cornell Hospital. The reason they wanted me to do that is because they just didn't want me to just not have any support. So they had two tracks. They had the track for people who, had issues like PTSD and depression, and then they had the track for the BPD people. I was on the track for the people with depression and PTSD. So when I got there, I got assigned a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist was a fourth-year resident, and he knew that I had problems with medications. He knew my medication history, that I reacted very badly to medications, and he was very cautious about giving me medication. So he said, you know what, I'm gonna give you Latuda. It helps with depression. It's an antipsychotic, second generation antipsychotic, but it's very mild. There's not very many side effects, and this will help with your depression. You might just gain a little bit of weight, but that's it. And I'm like, okay, fine, because part of the program was that you had to see a psychiatrist. You couldn't just see a therapist and be part of the therapy group. You had to see a psychiatrist. I didn't have a choice. I later got kicked out because I refused to take any more of the medications that they wanted to give me. But anyway, so I started exhibiting symptoms right away. The first symptom I had was drop head syndrome. The second was restless leg syndrome, and I exhibited symptoms that weren't making sense. I couldn't sit in the chair. I started walking a block felt like it was walking a mile when I used to walk 6 miles a day. So the doctor should have recognized these as, and there was other symptoms as well. So the doctor should have recognized these as symptoms of dystonia, because dystonia is one of the side effects of Latuda, but he did not recognize it. So anyway, I just kept getting worse and worse, and by the time February 2023 rolled around, I started getting spasms in my stomach. But at this point, he started throwing all kinds of medications at me to see if anything else would work. He tried escitalopram, he tried lithium, he tried propranolol, he tried a million different medications to try to get the symptoms under control. But really what he should have done was stopped the Latuda and put me on Ingrezza. That's what he should have done, but he didn't know how to do that. So anyway, my system goes haywire, and I go see a neurologist. The neurologist refers me to a movement disorder specialist, and right away the movement disorder specialist diagnoses me with tardive dystonia. Yes, tardive dystonia. And that was my first diagnosis. So he puts me on Ingrezza. Ingrezza does not work for me. He puts me on Austedo. Austedo gives me suicidal ideation. He puts me on amantadine, which is a Parkinson's medication. My symptoms were transient, and he just didn't know what to do with me. So he referred me out to a second opinion, third opinion. I got Botox, 500 units of Botox. Did nothing for me. One of the doctors that I saw was DBS, and on the first visit with her, she did the pre-video for DBS. Finally, I saw the last neurologist I saw, the fifth neurologist, the second opinion. And when I was in his office, I got a phone call. And when I got that phone call, my symptoms suddenly stopped. And he's like, I think you have functional neurological disorder. And I'm like, what does that mean? He said, well, considering that you have a history of PTSD and depression, functional neurological disorder is a condition where, where symptoms of PTSD and extreme trauma manifest in physical symptoms. And I said, but what about the Latuda? And he said, yeah, the Latuda basically was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. So the doctor should not have given that to you, considering all of your history with, PTSD and medication. You should have gotten PTSD treatment. So that's how I got the functional neurological disorder diagnosis. But in the meantime, I was having dystonic storms. I had every single symptom of dystonia that you can think of. I had the most dangerous one was truncal dystonia. Truncal dystonia is where it squeezes on your lungs and on your heart. So no matter how much oxygen you get in, you can't breathe because your lungs are being squeezed on. And I was having so many episodes of this, and I was going to the ER so many times that the neurologist at the time was basically like, you're gonna die. Like, I give you, if this continues, I give you 6 to 12 months. So yeah, but luckily that went into remission once I got on the right track and I got the right treatment. I still suffer from physical symptoms, but now I understand that I was given the wrong medication for what I had. I should have been treated for PTSD and not as a psychiatric condition. And also, I really appreciate when people suggest I take marijuana, but I can't take marijuana. When I take THC or CBD, I start going into convulsions. It's very dangerous for me, so I cannot do marijuana. So that's that. I also, yes, I did a parasite cleanse. I don't have any parasites. I did a heavy metal detox. I don't have any of that. And I also do a lot of other therapies. I do trauma therapy. I do physical therapy. I do all the therapies. So that's kind of how that happened. So I hope that clears up some of your questions.